Welcome, everyone, and thank you for listening to today's episode of Legal Marketing Station. I'm very excited for you guys all to meet our guest today. We are going to have bankruptcy attorney Brad Sadek with us, founder of Sadek and Cooper in Philadelphia. He is going to share with us his secrets on how he has gotten his firm to become the #1 bankruptcy filer in Philadelphia and still is today. I know you guys are all going to be jaw-dropped when you hear when Brad got started in digital marketing, because I'm pretty positive I didn't even know what a search engine was when he did get started. So one sec, guys, and we'll be right back with Brad.
Welcome to Legal Marketing Station with Jason, with your host, Jason Craver, co-owner of Telegenic Marketing and co-creator of Local Legal Authorities, the best exclusive legal directory. Each week, we bring you attorney, legal vendor, and legal marketer interviews, along with marketing tips with tutorials you can implement. Pick up the most up-to-date marketing methods and techniques in the legal industry that will get your business results. Now back to this week's show with your host, Jason Craver.
Well, thank you guys for joining us here today on Legal Marketing Station. I have already gave you guys a great introduction of Brad Sadek we have here today. And I'm going to just pass it over to him real quick for him to give you guys a little bit of an introduction of himself and what really made him choose to become a lawyer.
All right. Well, Jason, thank you so much again for having me. I would love to say it was my lifelong dream to become a lawyer. You know, you always have that kid that talks in class or likes history or English or something of that nature, and then they naturally progress to being a lawyer. My story is a little bit different. In college, I had a roommate that was actually taking the LSAT, which is the entry exam, kind of like the SATs to get into college, the LSATs are to get into law school. And he was so nervous about the test, and it was his lifelong dream to become a lawyer. And, you know, I said to him, I'll take the test with you. He goes, really? I said, sure. And he felt so much better about it that I was taking it with him. And of course, the night before I was going to say, forget about this, but I did it. And I took it with him. And I didn't go right to law school. I actually worked for an investment company in Philadelphia. And while I was working there, I got a postcard that said, start law school in January. So January of 2000, because I had already taken the LSAT, because I got the postcard, I went to law school. And then I finished, and I somewhat liked it. I took the bar exam. I did not like that, but I do love the actual practice of law. And even though I kind of went off the beaten path to get there, I really can't see myself doing anything else.
That is awesome. So you took a test to get preceded before you actually had that commitment or kind of understanding that.
Right.
Did you study for the test with him, or did you?
No. I wasn't gonna. I'm not that nice. No, I kind of took the test. It's more of an analytical test, like
okay.
A, B, and C are going down a slide, and you know this one has to go before this one, and this one has to go after this one, and then what's the order? And then they rearrange the parameters, and then they say, so what is the next order? So the test is not about knowledge. It's all about thinking like a lawyer. And, you know, the test is pretty good because being a lawyer is open book. It's not about the case law that you memorize. It's about how you think. So I think there is some correlation between the test, the LSAT, and actually being an attorney.
That definitely got you right in the path, right out the gate there. So, if I could have had something steer me that direction, that would have been awesome. Backing on the fact that you became a lawyer, and
So we know that you own your own firm. And what was the leading factors behind you choosing to start your own law firm compared to joining somebody else's practice? Or did you join somebody else's practice?
I did. I started out in the typical route where people go to law school and they want to join the biggest law firm they can. And I did. And I worked 11, 12 hours a day, and I didn't see the light of day. And I didn't really enjoy it. I always thought, well, I want to be with people. I want to directly help people. I want to see a result. I really didn't like the idea of just being locked in a room. So I left the huge law firm for a smaller law firm. And then I bounced around from law firm to law firm for about 2 years. And I learned a lot. I really learned what they do wrong. And I took those lessons, what they do wrong, and I said, I'm all of 27 years old now, and it was in 2006, and I said, I can do this on my own. And I don't need all of these clients. I just need 5%, 10%, and I'll be okay. And I started my practice in February of 2006 with 0 clients. And I was scared and I was hungry and I did not have a tremendous amount of experience. But I did know bankruptcy and I did know related areas of law. And because it was just me and I didn't have a paralegal or a secretary or anybody else to rely on, that forced me to not just know the law, but the intricacies of filing and, how an office actually works. So especially in the beginning stages, I networked the computers myself. I got the mail. I still do. I still get the docket on a daily basis. And those things are very hard for me to give up. And people say, well, Brad, you have employees. And I still look at every day as new, as if I had 0 clients. And what can I do? And I think any small business owner, you have to wear a lot of hats. And, some of the lessons that I learned were not charging for a consultation. I don't like that idea. As a bankruptcy lawyer, I help people that don't have a lot of money. And some firms, they'll charge $100, $200, $300 to people for a consultation. And I don't believe in doing that. I believe in at least a half an hour free for a couple reasons. Well, first of all, they don't have money for a consultation. And secondly, I would hate to say to somebody, thank you for your money, but I can't help you. I think that would be horrible. So, the people that I help, their life is about peaks and valleys, and finances are about, peaks and valleys. And I help people that are in the valley where they don't have as much money as they normally would. So I want to do free consultations. I want affordable payments. I want affordable payment plans. And I really want to give people direct. One of the reasons why I like bankruptcy so much is I can tell them what is going to happen in their case. It's more foreseeable, unlike litigation where there's twists and turns and, branches that grow off a tree. In bankruptcy, I can really give them a timeline and say, this is what's going to happen. And when people come to me and they're so unsure of their future, that's really comforting.
Yeah, there's a lot of bankruptcy attorneys, in my perspective, that do charge that consultation fee. And that is kind of like exactly what you said. It's like twisting their arm before they're about to get their arm twisted right. A lot more. And it just doesn't make full sense. So that's awesome that you guys do offer that free consultation. And I'm sure that is key to just getting those clients introduced into your service.
Right. And it's always with me too, Jason. I do all of the new consultations, which lately it's just been making my days longer and longer. But I think it's really important because that file is going to be on my desk. And I want to make sure that I ask the questions that need to be asked and tell the people what they need to be told based on their individual circumstance, and not have a conversation, well, I talked to this person and they told me this. So even though we've grown, even though we have 7 lawyers, I still try, to have my, literally have my hands in every case.
Well, that's awesome. I'm sure that gets the consumers and your clients a better experience all in all. And that's, I feel like, a gap in a lot of attorneys is the relationship side of it. They just think it's a service that they're providing, but you're really trying to create a relationship with that attorney to get the best.
That's why attorneys are referred to as counselors, and our rules of professional conduct even talk about being counselors of law. We're helping people, in most areas of law, bankruptcy included, but it's when people need help, it's where they need counseling. It's not just the service, it's counseling as well. I mean, right. I always say the only thing I can really think about in law where people are happy and they're excited to go to a lawyer is a real estate settlement. The buyer's happy, the seller's happy. Every other time, it's not about a great thing. It's a divorce, a bankruptcy, or, oh, I'm going to have a will written or something of the like. I mean, who wants to think about that? Where are my kids going to go? Where's my money going to go when I die? I mean, realistically, every other time that people hire a lawyer, outside of, some contracts, a lease, starting a business, etc. But most situations, it's something that people have to do and not what they necessarily want to do.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm sure with your guys' other main practice that you guys have being divorce, you probably get the experience of the full 9-yard other angle.
Right. And I always say, bankruptcy and divorce go together like peanut butter and jelly. It just doesn't taste nearly as good. 2 things that people just don't want to do. We try to make the experience palatable and fun and give the best guidance we can. But realistically, nobody wants to do either.
True. That is a factual statement right there. Yeah. Well, awesome. So in that first statement, you said when you started out when you were 27, I think you said.
27.
You started when you were 27, and you made the statement that you had no clients.
0.
So what was your focus in the beginning of starting to get in front of people and get clients?
Well, I actually didn't quite think this through when I quit my job previous to starting my practice. And I remember, that January, I spent planning every day. What am I going to do? I even started advertising before we opened, just so on day 1, I had clients. My lease didn't start until February the 1st. So I spent January, okay, this is what I need to do. Well, in 2006, it was the early days of smartphones. Blackberries, I think the first iPhones had just come out.
Yeah.
I was very, very lucky. I was very lucky because it was just starting and I needed a way to get clients in the door. I did not have a reputation over 15 or 20 years. I was an employee at different places for a period of 2 to 3 years, and that's it. I called the Yellow Pages and the Donnelly Directory. Well, the going rate for a page in Philadelphia was $50,000. $50,000 for a page. And I said, oh no, that's not going to work. Well, I went to the web. And I went to the web and I bought SadekLaw.com and I bought PhiladelphiaBankruptcyLawyer.com and every website related to Philadelphia and bankruptcy that you can imagine.com. And I parked them all on SadekLaw.com and I had some internal linking strategy. And way back when, there was something called Google Starter.
Yeah.
A pay-per-click campaign before it just became regular AdWords.
Right.
There's actually shades of pay-per-click starter in Google Map ads today. I see a big correlation between the two. But yeah, they're very similar. And so I started that way with a website that I remember drawing it on pieces of paper, and I came across someone, I think on Craigslist, that charged me $400 to build it. I took it, I put it on GoDaddy, and if you go on the Wayback Machine, it's not a bad site. I forget the name of that website that shows the progression of websites over the years.
Yeah.
But, I did look at it about a year or two ago, and it wasn't bad at all, especially for the time. Because I started so early, I really, on the internet, I really got lucky. And even today, I really believe in internet advertising, especially for lawyers. The other day, somebody called me. I get phone calls all the time, and they do placemat advertising for diners. And they told me thousands of people are going to see it. You have people's captive attention for 20, 30, 40 minutes. And I thought, well, wait a second. For those 20, 30, 40 minutes that somebody's sitting in a diner, what are they doing? They want to forget about all their problems. They want to have lunch or dinner or breakfast with their friends or their family. It's like advertising Weight Watchers at IHOP. It doesn't work.
Right.
So what I look at is more of an inbound marketing approach, not to get too technical, of course, because I'm a lawyer first, and I'm kind of a self-trained marketing person second. But I always try an inbound approach, especially for things that people don't necessarily want but need.
Right.
If it was a Ford or a Chevy, something that people want, such as a new car, I think that would be a lot easier. Then you can try more branded. But I want to be where people are looking when they need the service. And I truly think that is the internet, and especially the smartphone, because our smartphones are so personalized to us. And, people can take that personalized information and ask Google questions. And I want to do my best to be there and give people good information. So when they are ready, they do call us, and that information turns into a consultation. And that's the best information they're going to get, because, although bankruptcy is a system, like workers' comp is a system, it's always tailored to the person's specific information. So the internet, whether it's our site, whether it's the internet in general, it's only so good when we're actually talking about the intricacies of somebody's actual case.
It's a great backstory, and oh my gosh, the fact that you started a website in 2006 that is awesome, and that definitely explains the backstory a little bit more. And just for everybody listening, so he said that he bought SadekandCooper.com, and he said he also SadekLaw.com.
I think at the time, my law partner was probably still in high school.
That's awesome.
About 6 years younger than me, but he's very accomplished. I mean, for a guy that's not even 40, he's knocking on the door of it. He's amazing.
That's
SadekLaw.com.
So SadekLaw.com, and you bought PhiladelphiaBankruptcyLawyer.com.
Yeah.
And just for everybody listening, I would love for you guys, if you're in front of a computer, type in Philadelphia Bankruptcy Lawyer, and he still takes the top spot in Google today. And that does just give you that understanding of time does have like a play, but you took the best strategy when it was be like an operating strategy, because that doesn't work as well today for SEO as buying the exact match domain. But you beat to the punch before it even started, and yeah, no, that's awesome to see that you had that, and you still, 15 years later after the fact, still rank #1 for that same terminology.
Jason, and then what we used to do, which doesn't work anymore either, was, let's say we were opening up an office in Bucks County, we would buy the domain or a similar domain like buckscountybankruptcylawyer.com, and that used to work very well with those branded websites. Now we just use sadeklaw.com/Bucks County.
Right.
But, back in the day, you could just buy a branded website and, put it onto a Google My Business profile. And it was management of a lot of sites, as many offices as you have. But that used to definitely work. Now what we do is we just do that internal linking, which, it's a, SEO is a combination of a lot of little things.
It is.
So it probably works a little bit, that internal linking, but it's not everything like it used to be.
Right. Well, that location page realm kind of came out like 3 to 4 years ago, where it was like, instead of building a completely different, in a sense, microsite was the term kind of thrown around in the industry. Let's build that microsite on your website, because Google already knows this website, and that's where, it takes a different approach. But that's so cool, just learning the background of that. And I'm sure in 2006 you got a lot of cases because of that, because it was such a new thing that everybody was driving to.
Yeah, but I was still competing with the yellow pages. People weren't yet going to their cell phones. And once they started, lawyers are incredibly smart, incredibly aggressive people. Once it started, the attention shifted from the yellow pages to the cell phones. My competition, I don't like to say that, but, I'm not the only bankruptcy lawyer in Philadelphia or the greater Philadelphia area or New Jersey. So everybody else started shifting to the web as well. But, we were first.
Well, that's why you're potentially still first today. But I also know that your strategies are still stellar today. So you've kept up with it all. So while we're on the marketing side of it,
sure.
So everyone knows in the intro, I fluffed it up and I told them all the facts of it. You guys are the #1 bankruptcy filer in Philadelphia, and that's an awesome statement. Obviously, we know Philadelphia is a huge city and a huge demographic. If you would say, and this is going to get a little technical, and obviously you said web in the beginning of this, what form of marketing, including referrals, so word of mouth can be included in this, would you say has helped grow your firm over the years the most?
Besides the internet? Because the
internet could be it as well. So that's what I was kind of saying.
It is the internet #1 and referrals #2. Referrals in our business are tough. Today we live in like this social media kind of world where people are putting on their Facebook or their Instagram or all this other stuff that I don't understand how to use, and Twitter, and who has time for it all? And now there's TikTok. There's a lot of stuff, and people are putting on there where they're going, what they're eating, their new cars, what they have. It's all a show. It's all a show. People have problems out there. So in today's world, where we live in this, constant show of social media, especially, I don't know if people are talking about their finances or lack of finances or their questions. I think it may be perceived as uncool or something of the like. And it's very, very difficult for referral purposes. If somebody's looking for a car and their friend just bought a car and they're looking at a Jeep Wrangler, and the friend will say, "Oh, go see my guy. He gave me a great value for my trade. I love my Jeep Wrangler. He got me the perfect green color." Nobody is going to say, I filed bankruptcy. You got to go see my bankruptcy lawyer. I could do the best job in the world, but it just goes back to it's something people don't talk about. If people talk about, "Oh, I broke my ankle and my doctor was wonderful, you should go see him," that is socially accepted. But finances have never been socially accepted. And I think that's why people get into problems as well. First of all, it's so easy to do so. Our whole economy is predicated on financing, and people don't talk about it.
Right.
And therefore, they don't learn from their peers and their, sometimes, their colleagues or even their parents. It's something that people figure out on their own, and sometimes the really, really hard way at all income brackets. So, referrals are number two, and I appreciate it so much every time I get one, but it is not a close second whatsoever to the internet. Even reviews. I see these different, businesses with reviews, movie theaters, car dealerships, Best Buy. They have thousands and thousands of reviews. For me to get a review, it is, you don't even have to write anything. Just click 5 stars. "Brad, you did a wonderful job. I'll say, they say, I'll send you a letter." I used to get all these cards. I have them in my office, but we send a link like most businesses do, and we get phone calls. And to me, that means the most. But people are so hesitant to even leave a review just because the way they perceive society, how it looks at finances.
Right.
And I think the same holds true in, the family law arena as well. We help people we have 2 sides of our practice, 3 sides of our practice. We do bankruptcy, family law, and estates. Where family law, it's almost looked down upon if somebody has a custody dispute.
Right.
Court or divorce is a little bit more mainstream, but it's very, very hard to get referrals in that area as well. So the internet is equally as important as bankruptcy. Now, as far as wills and estates and everything else, I think we do get more percentage-wise reviews from our wills and estates practice than the other two. But again, the internet is, the internet's really by far the number one.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I've heard a couple of different opinions, but that was from more of the personal injury side. So I could definitely see how a personal injury side might lead to more referrals because, if you just got $50,000 off the settlement that you didn't think you were potentially getting $5,000 for, next time your friend says they get in an accident, it might be like, yeah, 100% see it. I don't see any women or guys going to be like, "I just had the best divorce attorney. You guys should get divorced."
Well, the new thing now is I was talking to a client the other day. He called and, of course, Pat and our team of divorce lawyers handled his case, but I like picking up the phone. I can't stop picking up the phone. I do it every day. If I'm not on the phone, I'm picking up the phone. And he said, "Brad, I'm going to have a party." And I said, "For what?" He goes, "My divorce was over last week and I'm going to have a divorce party." So he was so happy. Now he may give us some referrals, but the 10% won't.
You're like, "Wait, I'm going to that party because now I'm going to be allowed."
No. I'm married. I have 3 kids. I can't go anywhere. I haven't played golf in 7 years. My twins are 7. No.
It sounds like the best networking event you could go to.
It probably is. It probably is.
Well, that's great to hear that the internet has done so well for you. Obviously, as I'm a digital marketer, that's good to hear. Everybody always says, most people will stick it to you and be like, referrals still gives me more than internet. But it's good to hear that your practice is driving that. And really kind of what it's built on, it needs that too.
Sure.
Rather than some people could potentially rely on just referrals. And you guys definitely need that full piece.
Yeah, we have a pretty high volume practice. And, if somebody has a referral practice, they probably don't need or want the volume of cases that we have. But with volume, we also have a team. If I'm in court and somebody calls, I have lawyers that work with me and staff that works with me. They can answer most of the questions, and that client doesn't have to wait. I mean, our phones are literally answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That's awesome.
I can't do that myself. I've tried. I can't.
You got to sleep at some point. Well, that's good. So internet was your number one performer. This is going to go a little more technical into that performance.
Okay.
So internet, digital marketing, there's a lot of different elements to it. We've mentioned SEO, we've mentioned PPC, you mentioned local service ads, the new kid on the block there.
Yeah.
What would you say, and obviously it probably could have changed over your time of having the firm, but what would you say if you could pick one type of digital marketing component that would have performed the best for your firm, could you dial it down to something?
SEO. It would be SEO. I think as far as clients go, not clicks. I think if I did an aggressive pay-per-click campaign, I could get a lot of clicks. I may not be getting people that are seriously interested in learning about bankruptcy and related areas of law. I may get people that just want to call that are just, what's the difference between a Chapter 7 and a Chapter 13, and they want an answer. But somebody who is really considering a bankruptcy is a person that is going to do research and they're going to learn about it, not just go to a landing page, which is okay for branding, but the person that is going to take time to read blogs and listen to, video appearances and radio appearances. That is the person that when I get on the phone with them, that is the person that is asking me the questions that I know they've done their research and they're seriously interested in filing. And they may even know that they need to file. It's just who is the best fit for them. Local services ads, they're okay. They're at the top. I could raise my local services ads budget on a daily basis. I'm not getting more clicks. What I found with them, it's a limited click pool. It's extremely expensive. Yes, I have gotten clients from it. However, it's overall, I think true SEO is going to be the best, where there's the most research from the webpage available. I think number 2 would be the maps. I always say people want to hire a lawyer with a close proximity to them that specializes in the area of law that they're looking for. So the maps would be the geographic, and the SEO would be, the specialization. So pay-per-click would be number 3. And also the problem we have with pay-per-click with bankruptcy is, well, it's kind of a protected, it's one of those protected classes, as is family law, where we can't remarket, and we're very limited what we can say in our ads and how aggressive we can be, because it is regarding financial services. So, we're not very pay-per-click heavy whatsoever. And has it hurt us? I don't know, but SEO has just been the absolute best, and it's also the hardest. We're writing content on a per town basis, where it used to be the counties. We would write a blog about, or an article or blog or an area served page. I think Google sees it somewhat similar to one another, as long as it's new content and then it's crawlable. But we used to do, okay, we're going to write for Camden County, New Jersey. It's not enough anymore. We need a page for Cherry Hill and a page for Voorhees. And in Philadelphia, it's not enough to just have Philadelphia. We need Northeast Philly and South Philly and West Philly. So we're writing content for all of these different areas and all these different neighborhoods, as Google is getting, they're so smart, but it's redundant to say Google's getting even smarter, and they're getting even more localized.
Definitely.
So, we're doing our best, and we're probably producing more content than ever. Just writing localized pages so we can come up in those searches. Philadelphia bankruptcy lawyer is great, but the area is so much the greater Philadelphia area, which encompasses Bucks County, Montgomery County, Delaware County, and also into New Jersey. I live in New Jersey. I work in Philadelphia. I started in Philadelphia while I was living there. I grew up in the shadows of Philadelphia, but on the New Jersey side. The states are so close to one another, and that's why we practice on both sides of the bridge. But, it's a very wide geographic base. And, I want to rank, number one for, Trevose bankruptcy lawyer as well. Because if someone's there, that's what they're searching. Or if they're typing in bankruptcy lawyer, well, then, Google knows their geographic area. So my Trevose bankruptcy lawyer, page, ranks number one.
That's awesome. Yeah, that goes back into that location page concept of really, it's once you have a location page of practice, you can really go any location, any practice, and niche down to it. And that's what will perform better in this day and age right now, for sure. And that's the hard part too, with every attorney doing that, because there is a lot of websites doing that. That is what you were saying of why you have to niche so farther down into the actual practice and location instead of the county, because it's like, now you have 100 attorneys that are also doing that. So they're have the same chance of putting out that same kind of URL structure. But that was very interesting that you said local service ads, that you could increase your budget and it's not going to give you any more clicks, because we've had that same experience, not even in the attorney industry. I've just blatantly joked around and I was like, we don't get anything off $100 budget a day. And I went in there one day and I was like, $1,000 budget a day.
Right.
They gave me 2 clicks still. I'm like, you could have burned $1,000 today if you guys had the capability to do it, but you didn't have the capability to do it, so you just didn't charge us anything. It was weird.
I wonder if people just aren't clicking. What you don't know, because you don't have the control with local services ads that you do with a typical pay-per-click, but it actually begs the question, when you raise the budget, and I never raised the budget, 10 times in a day, but were your impressions 10 times more? They could be.
True.
People just aren't clicking on the local services ads.
Right.
Maybe because they're new, maybe because there's a lack of information on them. Who knows? They're really just a glorified Google My Business listing and not a lot of information.
Right. I was almost saying that if they switched it up, and because it's at the top and it's above the ads, they didn't confuse the consumer at all. The consumer always knows the ads are at the top. So what me and my partner have been throwing around, I'm like, these guys could be masterminds if they just drop their same local ads pack and put it right under the map pack in their first position. They'd confuse everyone.
Yeah, but it would show up on mobile, which most people are using.
Right.
The problem is, I don't know if people scroll that far down, which makes the map pack so
much more important. Yeah.
Right. Because, organic being number one, well, it's great, but somebody still has to scroll, past the map pack.
Definitely. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I like Google services ads for saturation,
Yeah.
But I don't think it's an end-all be-all from a marketing strategy.
I said it's a good brand awareness strategy too, because it has the face there too. So it's like the first thing is putting that face in the people's eyes. So definitely helps on that brand awareness side. All right, we're hopping into a couple of the last questions here.
I'm ready.
So this is gonna be a fun one.
Okay.
You had to start over today. We're back to 2006. What would you do differently in creating your law firm? If anything, because you honestly started it pretty damn good.
No. I would have went remote a little sooner. I think the pandemic has taught me. Today, I went to a hearing. We're not having, most of our hearings are still over the phone or on Zoom. But this one was an in-person hearing and involved multiple businesses, etc. Just the kind of thing that you need to do in person. So I went to a hearing today, and then I came back to my house instead of going to the office to work from home. And before the pandemic, I would never do that. My office was almost like a store, and I always thought, that store doesn't open unless I'm there. Mm-hmm. And I could have made my life a lot easier if I set up a home office a little bit sooner. Maybe if I went to voice over IP a little bit sooner with the phones. Maybe if I went to a VPN, virtual private network, a little bit sooner. And what I'm doing now is I'm doing 1 day a week out of the office. And truthfully, I think it's going to add 5 years to my career, especially driving into the city every day. I think that's one thing I would do differently. And my employees and the lawyers, they have the flexibility to work from home as well. I mean, for the most part, we're in the office, all of us. There's 13 of us. We're there every day. We work together. But I think it gives people tremendous flexibility. I've never worked as many hours as I have during the pandemic. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And I think that's a product of everything is harder. Everything takes longer. People are working from home and there's not that communication where I'm just going to walk down the hall and ask this person and I'll let you know. Now I'll get back to you in 3 days when that person checks their email. It's very frustrating, but everything takes longer. There's more follow-up. But I think what I would have done is given myself the flexibility to do that. But I wanted to be there. I wanted to be on the phone. I wanted to be in person, rather than on the phone. And I say I would have done that differently, but I don't know if I would have accepted it. And I don't know if my clients would have accepted it. Now, it's expected. When people call, they say, oh, the appointment's over the phone. I don't need to come in. And we say, yes, but that is one thing that I would have done differently because it has been great. Even that 1 day a week, if I work till 6 o'clock, I don't have the commute home. I didn't have the commute in the morning. And that's really, really nice. I don't think that's major in the scope of the practice. I really can't think of, I love the area of bankruptcy. I would not say, oh, I wish I did personal injury or I wish I did, more in the family law side. I really like what I do. I like the predictability of bankruptcy, and I like the result of bankruptcy. I say bankruptcy is the most powerful tool in all of law. So I love the area of practice. You know, I'm always trying, how can I practice it better? How can I do more for the client? I'm always thinking about that. So I would never say, oh, I wish I could have done more. That's not the case. So I think it would be just changing the inner workings of the practice that I could have given myself and employees flexibility a little bit sooner.
That's awesome. I could not agree more. Right before the pandemic hit, we had an office geared to buy, and it could not have came in at the certain time. We literally were supposed to close in March, and that was when everything started happening. So we're like, pushed it off. And if we were commuting every single day, the amount of hours that I would get done in actual work would just be, I would close to say half, just because of the mentality of still commuting to work, walking into work, taking a lunch break now, doing
lunch break. People do that? No. No.
Business owners don't do it, but apparently normal employees
do.
That's awesome. So I definitely could not agree more. This next question is going to bank off that a little bit more. So if you had to start over, what would you do differently in marketing your law firm?
Well, definitely not advertise in the yellow pages. What would I do differently in marketing? I think I would have done email marketing a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Drip marketing to recapture.
Yeah.
I think I see the value of that now, where, you know, I said, well, you know, bankruptcy is the kind of thing, if they need you, they're going to call you. Well, not necessarily, because with drip marketing campaigns, you know, they will call, you know, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. So, you know, we've implemented, you know, reminders for appointments, and if someone fills out a form, you know, there's a drip marketing campaign that they get. That's really proved to be valuable.
Definitely.
You know, because people are so busy, and it's that, I don't want to say constant, but that weekly, you know, reminder, hey, we're still here for you. You know, it does work.
Definitely.
Back.
I got a drip feed that goes out to about 500 attorneys a week. So I know all about the drip feeds, and they're definitely exactly what you said, though. They'll call you 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later from the drip, and you're like, oh, this lead washed out. They've opened my email 5 times without connecting back, and then they connect back. You're just like, this is crazy.
Very unpredictable, but it does work.
Definitely. All right. Well, we're at our last bonus question here, and then I won't take any more of your time. And thank you all, the audience, for listening up until this time. I'm sure you've gotten some great value from Brad here. So this bonus question, we've talked about it. We know the pandemic has shifted everybody's mindset around business in general, especially the law industry. What challenges have impacted your law firm the most within this, and then how would you say you've overcome the biggest challenge?
The pandemic?
Yeah.
I think it's been employees. You know, we've had, in most places that I've, you know, spoken to, they've had turnover. You know, and we've had to replace people that were with us for a while that moved on to other places after business kind of opened up. You know, one of the problems with being the #1 bankruptcy lawyer in Philadelphia, if somebody else is running a practice and they're getting a little bit busier, well, somebody's going to get a lot of experience from us. So they're going to kind of be cherry picked. And then those people have to be replaced. And I want to replace them. You know, if they have to be replaced, I want somebody better. And there are better people out there, but it's still, you know, a turnover. And, people get acclimated with our cases and the people, and that's been tough because we've actually had a little less than 20% of our staff turnover in the past year and a half, which is a very high number for us, because before that, I had people that were with me for 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
Right.
So I think what the pandemic created is that lack of continuity, and that's been a challenge, and we've been able to overcome it, and we've been able to hire great people. I said this about 5 years ago, and I'm going to say it again. We have the best team that we've ever had. If this was a professional football team, you would hear that every year. I don't say it every year, but we literally have the best team that we ever had before. We just really have amazing people. We recently hired a lawyer who actually graduated law school a year after me, and he is great. He is absolutely great. He actually came from a competitor. I wish I practiced with him, for the past 10 plus years.
Right.
He is that good, and it's so nice to have somebody in the office that we can bounce ideas off of and just gain from that experience. And I feel like, it's not all on me. I also have another lawyer who's a rather new lawyer in our practice, and she had graduated law school a year ahead of me. And she has a tremendous amount of experience in New Jersey, and she has been instrumental in allowing us to grow our New Jersey practice, where, again, it's not all on me. So we have really turned over our staff, whether it's lawyers or support staff. We've had a lot of changes, but they're really for the better, and it's actually better for the clients.
True. Definitely. Well, if you got the best team that you've had, it's definitely better for your clients.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Eagles are following that statement up this year.
I don't think this year they are. I think this year it's we're gonna do our best. We're gonna clear some cap space, and hopefully we'll have a repeat of 2017, and we'll go back to the Super Bowl. Time will tell, but it could be worse. We could be the Colts. They have Carson Wentz. Thank them for taking.
Could be the Lions after that game last night.
The Giants, right?
True. Well, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very, very much today, Brad. It was an honor having you on the show. Thank
you, Jason. Anybody that's listening, and if they listen to me for an hour or so, you get an award. I don't know what it is, but thank you. And if anyone has any questions about internet marketing, call Jason. If you have questions about bankruptcy or related areas of law, call us.
Definitely call you guys on the bankruptcy side of it. So that is awesome. Thank you very much for joining us again. And I'm sure that every single person that stayed here for the whole hour has learned some valuable information about their practice today. So that is what we came here today. And thank you for delivering that.
Awesome. All right. Bye for now, Jason. Take care.
Have a great rest of the day,
buddy.
Thanks for joining us today for Legal Marketing Station with Jason. We hope you received a valuable legal marketing tip from today's episode. Be sure to leave any comments or questions you have, and stay tuned for future episodes with your host, Jason Craver.